It's playoff time in Baltimore for your Ravens. Coming up on this edition of Ravens Rundown, we will look at the top 5 adjustments that this team needs to make heading into the postseason. We'll go piece by piece in just a matter of moments here on today's show. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. Before we get to that, though, if you're ready for playoff time in the Charm City, go ahead and spam P in the comments section. Pop that P and show some love to your Baltimore Ravens. I want to see at least 100 different Ps for playoff time in that comment section. We'll get started with today's show. Number 1, let's begin with Dalvin Cook. The Ravens added Dalvin Cook right before the end of the regular season. He's currently on the practice squad, and it's not a guarantee just yet that Dalvin Cook will be on the active roster for the divisional round playoff game coming up next weekend. That's still to be determined, but all signs point to that if Dalvin Cook practices well and gets up to speed with this offense, that he'll be activated for that game. Now, when I look at Dalvin Cook, of what he potentially brings to this Baltimore Ravens team, it's the thunder and lightning thing, right? Was it Imagine Dragons? They had that song about the thunder. Give me the thunder, or whatever it was. But you get the idea. You have some bruisers, right? In Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, but you're looking for the lightning and the thunder. Thunder, that's what it was. But you guys know what I mean. Looking for that spark, right? Lamar Jackson, Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, you have good running backs, but somebody to put that team to give them that little edge, that spike, that lightning of sorts, that's where Dalvin Cook comes in. And not to mention, he'd be a significant upgrade from Melvin Gordon. Here's the numbers from Dalvin Cook of what we've seen. This year, did not play a ton, despite being active in 15 games with the New York Jets. Only had 67 carries for 214 yards, 3.2 average. But it wasn't long ago when Dalvin Cook was leading the Minnesota Vikings in rushing with 1,100 yards, 4.4 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns. And because the workload has not been much for Dalvin Cook this season with the limited number of touches, producer Big Tex pointed out to me, I thought it was a very good point before we started filming, nearly 200 less carries right now that he's had compared to this time a year ago. He's got fresh legs at this point. And so if you're Dalvin Cook thinking about that, to me, that could be a difference as far as looking for that spark. So let's ask you now, our pinned comment today. Should Dalvin Cook play next week? What do you guys think? Let me know. Y for yes, N for no in our pinned comment today if Dalvin Cook should make his Ravens debut in the divisional round or not. Number 2 on our changes for the Baltimore Ravens heading into the postseason, getting Geno Stone and Kyle Hamilton on the same page, getting them synced up. Look, we've seen both these guys play at a high level so far throughout the 2023 through 2024 season. Geno Stone has been awesome, 7 interceptions. Kyle Hamilton's played at a Pro Bowl level. But here's the deal. They have not played well together when they've been on the field at the same time. Geno Stone, all those interceptions, most of them came in games where Kyle Hamilton wasn't out there. And when Kyle Hamilton's been out there, Geno Stone hasn't played that great. So if you could scheme up, if you could find a way, this is the challenge, I think, for Mike McDonald and John Harbaugh defensively over this next week or so, is find ways where they can both play at a high level on the field together and get the most out of both of them that way. Kyle Hamilton playing great shouldn't force Geno Stone to suffer and make him struggle out there. There needs to be a way for both these guys to be on the same page, because if you can get both of them on the field playing at a high level together, then this secondary is just going to be unstoppable as far as that goes. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time, the place to go for last-minute tickets for the lowest prices guaranteed. Here's how it works. You choose your tickets to whether it's sporting events, concerts, theater, productions. Very easy to use with Game Time's interface. And I know that the Ravens may not be playing this weekend, but plenty of different events to choose from, including some Maryland basketball this weekend. Over in College Park, you could go see Maryland play Michigan, folks. Get this, for the low price of $2 a ticket. Yes, you heard that right. $2 to watch Maryland play. Forget the dollar menu. Instead, go support our friends over at Maryland. And here's the deal. You can get 4 tickets with the fees and all that included, just $28. You can take the whole family this weekend to go see Maryland take on Michigan. And you can save $20 off your first purchase as well when you use the promo code RAVENSCHAT. Download Game Time today. Don't mess with those sleazy scalpers outside the arena, and keep it locked in with Game Time. Best seats, lowest prices guaranteed. Terms and conditions do apply. Link is in the comments and description of today's video. Download Game Time today. Promo code RAVENSCHAT for $20 off. Number 3 on our playoff changes for the Ravens is Rashod Bateman, the former first-round wide receiver who, before this past year, there was a lot of hype about, right? Because with being the former first-round pick and replacing Marquise Brown essentially as the number 1 receiver, there was a lot of expectations. And then after the way those first 2 seasons went and the injuries that endured, there wasn't nearly as much expectations on Rashod Bateman entering 2023, and his role was reduced. He got passed up in the depth chart by Zay Flowers, by OBJ, and we've seen him be closer to Nelson Aguilar than he is Zay Flowers. Well, the last time that we saw Rashod Bateman on a football field a couple weeks ago against the Miami Dolphins was his best game of the season so far. 4 catches, 54 yards, and quite frankly, I want to see more of that. Look, Rashod Bateman, we know he's talented. There's a reason why he was selected by Eric DeCosta and company as a former first-round pick. There's a reason why, at one point in time, this team believed that he was a number 1 quality receiver. Sure, he hasn't lived up to it, but the talent is there. We know that he's capable of still playing at a high level. It's playoff time. We can put all the bad juju behind us. Rashod Bateman, if he steps up and he plays well in this postseason, I would love to see that as an X-factor player of sorts. Watch out for Rashod Bateman, especially coming off his best performance a couple weeks ago there against Miami. Do you believe in Rashod Bateman? Can he get the job done for Baltimore? Weigh in, tell me what you think. B for believe, D for don't. What say you? Let us know in the comment section below. Number 4, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we need to see the big leg out of Justin Tucker. Need to see him at his absolute best. And it sounds crazy to say, but Justin Tucker hasn't been his normal self this season. It hasn't been a bad year, but it hasn't been what we're accustomed to seeing from Justin Tucker. Still one of the best kickers in the NFL. But when it comes to long distance, we saw his range take a bit of a step back this year. He's 1 for 5 on field goal attempts of 50-plus yards, which is the worst conversion percentage of his entire career at about 20%. It hasn't been what we typically expect out of Justin Tucker. And here's the deal. When you come playoff time, everybody's good at this point, right? Even though the Ravens are the favorites going into the playoffs to win the AFC and win the Super Bowl, it's all hands on deck. And you know, if you can avoid Jordan Stout punting and, you know, those situations where you're debating, all right, we're at the, what is it, you know, like 40-yard line, 45-yard line, whatever it may be, and are we going to kick the field goal or are we going to try to risk the punt and avoid the touchback and all that? If that could be 3 points instead, or if you get down to the end of the game and you need a long game-winning kick from Justin Tucker, we need to see Justin Tucker at the best of his abilities with those long kicks that could be potentially the difference in a win or a loss. I know he can get the job done. You know he can get the job done. We just need to see it and put those jitters behind him, that bad juju, that 1 for 5 rate from those kicks at 50 or longer. We'll see. How far will the Ravens go in the AFC playoffs this year? Do you think they make it to the conference championship? Are they eliminated the divisional round? Do they make it to the Super Bowl? Weigh in that comment section and let us know what you think. We are going to be your home for the Ravens playoffs as we'll be covering this team each and every day here on the channel with daily news and rumors. We'll be live for every game as well here on Ravens Rundown throughout the postseason. So if you're a diehard Ravens fan, this is the channel for you. Subscribe now for free. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Keep it locked in right here to Ravens Rundown. Last but not least on our changes for the Baltimore Ravens entering the postseason is cutting down on penalties. And what's crazy for me when I look at how well this Ravens team is, we've said it many times before, that they are a well-rounded machine, right? They look like a complete football team. But there's been one major flaw with the Baltimore Ravens this year, and it's been the penalties. They have been one of the most penalized teams in the league, both when it comes to penalty yards per play, penalty yards per game, just everything, right? Bottom half in nearly every category. And when you get to playoff time, you got to put your best foot forward. This isn't September. You cannot be making those mistakes, those pre-snap penalties or the unnecessary penalties, the unnecessary roughness calls, whatever it may be. You got to put that stuff behind you. You cannot stand in your own way. You have enough work cut out just trying to beat your opponent. You don't need to worry about trying to beat yourself at the same time as well. So for this Ravens team, that's what I'm watching out for. Just take care of business. Don't stand in your own way, and you'll be in great shape. Thanks for watching. If you're ready for the playoffs, keep spamming P in the comments section for a playoff dub, and we'll see you next time here on Ravens Rundown.